never thought I could get here, and I'm here. I remember like 2 years ago, I was sitting right over there, and I was watching my confirmation sponsor, Kathy. Some of you guys probably know her. Kathy, give her senior year minute, and it really inspired me to go deeper into my faith and to really live out this call to holiness. And it kind of like that was like a really big inspiration, and I'm just very thankful for her. When I started high school, probably like most of you guys, like you don't really know who you are. And I remember walking through the doors of Killer High School and just thinking to myself, like, wow, like I hope that by the end of these 4 years, like I'll know who I am and all this stuff. And probably like most of you guys, people at your school tell you that there is a certain key to being happy and a certain key to being popular and to being valued. And I fell into this trap because, you know, like our culture tells us that you have to be a certain number on a scale, or have a certain number of Facebook likes, or have certain clothes to be awesome and for people to like you. And I really fell into this trap pretty hard, and one thing I really struggled with was the way that I looked at myself in the mirror. Like I remember like looking at myself before I would go to school, and I would just be like, I'm a potato. Like, why can't I be like the other girls at my school? Like I just felt like so insecure when it came to the way that I looked. And this kind of like extended forward, because when I would go out and I would look at magazines and stuff, I would see, you know, models on the cover and they're looking all flawless and stuff. And I would just look at them and I'd just be like, I'm never, ever gonna look like that. Like, how are people gonna like me? Like, I'm never gonna be that. I can't be, but I could try. And so I thought, maybe if I'm thinner, like maybe if I get that curve that those girls have, then maybe I'll feel better about myself. Like maybe people will like me more, and maybe I'll know who I am. Maybe I'll feel fulfilled. Maybe I'll find my meaning. And so I was like, well, maybe I just won't eat. Maybe I will just like skip meals, and maybe after some time, I'll be thinner and I'll be happier, and all this will work out great. But I was wrong. And not only was I actually hungry because I wasn't eating, but I was spiritually hungry, and I was longing for God, and I had no faith at the time. And my family and I went through like a 3-year drought, as I like to call it, because we didn't go to mass like Easter and Christmas pretty much, and like I just had no clue who God was, and I was searching for meaning, but I didn't know that my longing to be loved, my longing for people to accept me, was really a longing to have a relationship with God. And thankfully, like I had some really good friends who were there for me, who were like, no, like this isn't the way that you should be doing things. Like this isn't healthy for you. And I had some really great teammates who noticed, because I play soccer, and some of my teammates were like, hey, like your play is a little different. Like what's going on with you? What's the deal? So I had some really good friends who helped me get through that. But the problem was that after struggling with starting myself, I didn't go to the correct source to find meaning. Instead, I ran to my sport. So I play soccer and I play club ball, and it's been my life forever. Like I've been playing since I was 4 years old, and it's always been my dream to play college soccer. And so when I was a sophomore, the recruiting process got started, and I hid myself in my sport. It was like my mask, and I put everything that I had into it because I was so good at it. I was like, well, if I'm so good at this, and if maybe I get like a huge scholarship, then people will like me, and like I could be an Olympian or something, I don't know, and I'll find meaning. And things were really good after a while, because I was like on the track at school soccer, gonna make varsity, doing really well in my club ball sport, having lots of college coaches come and talk to me, offering me lots of scholarships, and I was really excited. But then things came crashing down, and at the time, it was like the worst thing ever, because like I thought my life was over. But when I look back at what happened, I know that God used it to bring me back to Him. And so what happened was, I broke my toe. And in case you guys don't know, your feet are very important in soccer. And so I broke my toe and I couldn't play. And that was a problem because I'd been hiding myself in soccer and it felt like someone had just like ripped the curtain out from me. Like I was the Wizard of Oz, like hiding behind the curtain, and then someone uncovered it and I was like, ah, you see me? And I was like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna do now? Like I have nothing. And I remember like sitting at home in my bed with my boot on, like just like looking at the ceiling, like, oh my gosh, like my life is over. And I just remember like for the first time just like praying to God, like please, 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 like bring my toe back, heal it right now. Like I don't know what else to do. But thankfully God said no. And but he chose to give me what I need, and what I needed was a relationship with him. And so in my time off, when I was healing my toe, I got involved with the confirmation process. And it opened me up to not only like a new group of people, but it opened me up to a relationship with God. Because I had nothing, and I was like, I have nothing to lose. By putting myself into this, I got nothing better to do, can't go anywhere, so why not? And so I started coming to SNL, and I started coming to all these events, and I was just like, oh, wow, this is so cool! Because I just had no clue about anything when it came to the church, you know? Like, I wasn't raised super Catholic, and so, like, I just kind of soaked it all in, and I loved it. And I was like a dry sponge being placed out into a little brainstorm, you know? Like, I was just couldn't get enough. But the real change really came when I experienced Jesus in the Eucharist for the first time in adoration. He just really changed everything to me. I never known what adoration was, but when I saw Jesus in the monstrance, like, I don't know, it just changed me, and my heart just leaped out of my chest, and I was like, finally, this is what I have been looking for forever. And I didn't know it at the time, but that moment with Christ would change the rest of my life forever. And seeing him in the Eucharist just really, because I didn't know before that the Eucharist was actually Jesus, and that reality changed everything for me. And it made me realize how loved I was, because before I thought that God didn't really care about me. I thought that he was too big, and he had way too many kids to care about. Why would he care about me specifically? But I realized that when Christ died on the cross, like he died like just for me. He died for each of us, so that one day he could possibly spend the rest of eternity with me. And that really gave me this a sense of meaning to my life, because before, like, I didn't know why I mattered. Like, what was the deal with me? Why am I here? Is my existence really needed? But Christ says, yes, like, I need you, and God created you so you could spread his message of love and mercy to all of his children. And so how do I live out this call? How do I spread Christ to my brothers and sisters? Well, one way that I've been able to do that is through my sport. Before, it was my whole life, and it was everything to me, and a relationship with God was below soccer. But then I put God first, and it actually has helped me in my sport, because in the times in which I struggle in it, when I can't play as well as I normally can, Christ helps me through it, and I offer every game up to him, and it's a way that I live out my call to holiness, and I offer every moment I have on the field for him. And then another way is with my teammates, who don't have the best morals. So sometimes they'll say things about the church, and I'll be there just to be myself and to show them that, no, like, it's cool to be a Christian. It's awesome, and living a life for Christ is a fulfilled life. And I think that's a big question that people have. Like, if I follow Christ, can I be happy? Like, will I really be happy? And, you know, I like to think that, like, my presence is big little sunshine to people, to show them that, you know, it's not only happy, but it's exciting, and it's fun, and it's fulfilling, and it's unlike anything else. And one of the small ways that I'm able to live out this call to holiness is by sharing my experiences with my image with others. Because I found out through just talking to people and getting to know other people's stories that I'm not the only one who struggles with my appearance. You know, I know that there are probably some of you out there right now who may have felt the same way, or maybe you feel that way right now. And like, I totally understand that, you know? Like, it's not fun looking at yourself and not liking what you see, you know? But something that Jesus has healed me of, and it's not this being okay with the way that you look. It wasn't like a day to night thing. It wasn't like one morning I woke up and I'm like, I'm a beautiful creation of God. You know, like this was like a slow process, and like Jesus really had to work with me because I'm a piece of work. And you know, I was really resistant in the beginning, and it was really hard for him to, I don't even know how I did it. I'm a piece of work. But you know, like through prayer and spending time with him in the Eucharist, you know, Jesus told me that because I'm a child of God, and all of you are too, so we're all made in the image and likeness of God, right? And each of us reflect a little piece of him. And that when God created me, he looked at the world and said, hey, the world needs this, so here's my daughter to fulfill that need. And so each of us have a special talent, right? We have something about us that is special and unique. And God gave each of us those gifts so that we could spread that message of love and mercy to someone else in the world who really needs it. And wow, I'm kind of amazed right now at how fast things have gone by, because I never thought that I would be sitting here. And like I said, like this process of me coming to love who I am, it didn't happen overnight, and through lots of prayer, I've come to like who I am. You know, I'm pretty great. You know, I'm a little loud, in case you didn't know. And I'm not perfect, and I don't look like a girl in a magazine, but that's okay, because I'm beautiful just the way I am. And God gave me certain talents and certain gifts so that I could use them to spread good throughout the world. And I know that he did the same with each of you. And so I really want to end with reading this quote that I found the other day. I really like it. Okay, so Papa Franco once said, holiness means giving ourselves in sacrifice every single day. And that, my brothers and sisters, sometimes God is going to ask us to do things that are difficult. And sometimes we're going to feel awful, and we're going to be like, why, God? Why? Like, why would you do this to me? Like, do I have to? But I'm here to tell you that it's worth it. It's totally, totally, totally worth it. Because, I see you. Because Jesus, like we know from the gospel today, that Jesus has prepared for each of us a special place in heaven. And if we follow his will, he'll lead us right home. So follow the way, believe the truth, live the life. Thank you.